They saw a human as prey. These alien girls never expected his true power. HFY Sci-Fi. The stars above the frontier station were cold and silent, stretching endlessly in every direction. The station itself floated like forgotten debris, old metal plates patched together from many eras. It was once a trading hub, then a research post, and now it survived only because its power core refused to die. Very few ships came this far anymore. Inside one of the dim corridors, a single human walked alone. His name was Evan Hale. He moved slowly, not because he was weak, but because he was careful. His clothes were worn, his boots scratched from years of travel. His face showed calm patience, the kind shaped by long isolation. The station lights flickered as he passed, and the quiet hum of failing systems followed him like a warning. Evan stopped near a broken console and rested his hand on the cold metal. He listened. The station always spoke if someone knew how to hear it. Power levels were unstable. Life support was holding barely. He had already fixed what he could with limited tools. Now he waited. A shadow passed across the observation window. Evan looked up. A sleek alien ship emerged from hyperspace, its surface smooth and reflective, glowing softly with controlled energy. It was advanced, clean, and very much alive. Not a scavenger ship, not pirates, explorers. Evan exhaled slowly. "About time," he whispered. The alien ship locked onto the station with effortless precision. Scanners swept across every surface. Within moments, docking clamps extended. Evan stepped back from the window and adjusted his posture. He relaxed his shoulders, slowed his breathing, and softened his expression. Humans survived not by strength but by timing. The airlock hissed open. 4 figures entered, moving with confident grace. They were tall, their bodies lean and strong, their skin smooth with faint patterns that shimmered under the lights. Their eyes were sharp and intelligent, glowing faintly with alien colors. Their armor was light but advanced, shaped to allow movement and speed. They were female by human standards, though their species had little concern for such distinctions. The lead alien raised her scanning device and aimed it directly at Evan. "There," she said in her own language, her voice calm and certain. "A lone human." He understood enough of their language to catch the tone, if not every word. He also understood body language. They were not afraid. That told him everything. The leader stepped forward, her eyes narrowing slightly as her scanner ran over him. "You are isolated," she said in broken trade speech. "No weapons detected, no enhanced implants." "That's right. Perhaps this one has accepted his fate." They did not restrain him. They did not rush him. To them he was not a threat. He was a curiosity at best. As the airlock sealed behind them, Evan glanced once more at the dying station. He felt no sadness. It had kept him alive long enough. The alien ship's interior was bright and clean. Smooth surfaces curved naturally, and glowing symbols shifted as systems adjusted. The air smelled sharp but breathable. Evan noticed everything: the layout, the interfaces, the rhythm of the ship's hum. The aliens did not notice his eyes moving. They guided him to an open space near the center of the ship. There were no bars, no force fields, just an open floor and a few raised platforms. "You will remain here," the leader said, "until we determine what to do with you." He listened to the ship. Advanced, yes. Powerful, certainly, but rigid. Everything followed perfect rules. Perfect systems failed when something unexpected happened. Humans lived in the unexpected. A soft vibration passed through the hull as the ship moved. Evan felt it through his spine. He smiled faintly. Time passed. Minutes, maybe hours. An alien returned holding a small device. "You will answer questions," she said. "Okay. Our scans show extensive system modifications. Humans are physically inferior." He didn't touch it, only looked. The symbols were unfamiliar, but logic was logic. Patterns repeated. Redundancies overlapped poorly. An alien voice called out sharply, "Do not touch that." "That is impossible," she said. Evan smiled faintly. "If you say so." The crew began to notice. "He predicts system behavior," one whispered. That is coincidence, another replied, though her voice lacked confidence. The leader watched Evan from across the room. He is still just a human, she said, more to herself than anyone else. Evan sat quietly, hands resting on his knees, eyes half-lidded. He let them think that. Because humans did not need to prove strength immediately. They waited, and the universe always provided a moment. Somewhere far ahead, unseen by the crew, space twisted strangely. A region of unstable energy drifted silently in their path, bending physics in ways no perfect system liked. Evan felt it before the alarm sounded. He opened his eyes and smiled. The ship moved smoothly through space, its engines humming with steady confidence. Inside, the alien crew followed their routines with discipline and ease. To them, this mission was simple exploration. The human was a minor detail already categorized and understood. Evan sat quietly where they had left him. He did not try to escape. He did not demand answers. He simply watched. The subtle vibration he had felt earlier grew stronger. Not enough to trigger alarms yet, but enough for someone who listened carefully. The ship's systems were beginning to struggle against something ahead. Space itself was becoming unstable. Evan stood slowly and walked a short distance, stopping where he could see a navigation display from an angle. He kept his hands behind his back, careful not to touch anything. He studied the shifting symbols, the way the projected route bent slightly out of alignment. The alien at the station frowned. "That fluctuation is minor," she muttered to herself. "Autocorrection will handle it." "You are not authorized to speak on navigation." She said nothing more, but her fingers moved faster across the controls. Moments later, a low warning tone echoed through the bridge. Not an alarm, just a notice. Power distribution shifted unexpectedly. The ship corrected its course by a fraction of a degree. The alien stared at the screen. That should not have happened. "Report. Adjust shields." "What does that mean?" Soon alarms sounded properly. Not loud but urgent. The ship slowed as space ahead twisted visibly on the displays. Energy readings spiked unpredictably. The leader spoke sharply. "Status. Our models do not account for this level of variance. You're trying to avoid where it was, not where it's going." "It violates survival," Evan replied calmly. The leader hesitated for only a second. "Do it." The leader finally turned to Evan. "You saved us." Observations were shared instead of dismissed. Evan never pushed. He answered simply. He explained only when asked. He noticed more issues as they traveled. Minor inefficiencies in power routing. Redundant systems interfering with each other. Assumptions built into their technology that worked perfectly until they didn't. Each time Evan spoke up. Each time he was right. One officer muttered quietly to another. "He sees flaws where we see perfection." "You are changing the behavior of my crew," she said bluntly. "I'm not trying to," Evan replied. "Yet they listen to you." "Just with company. I'm adaptable." They didn't slow down in time. He suggested unconventional power transfers, shared predictive patterns, and adjusted timing by instinct more than calculation. Ships stabilized. Systems rebooted. Lives were saved. When it was over, the bridge was quiet again. The crew looked at Evan not with curiosity now, but with respect. The leader spoke softly. "We were wrong about humans. It happens." Their technology had failed others of their own kind, and a human had shown them how to adapt. Evan stood near the bridge, no longer ignored. No one ordered him away. No one questioned his presence. He did not take a seat at any console, but the space around him felt different, as if the ship itself accepted him. Outside, the distortion field was not gone. It had spread. Energy readings pulsed unpredictably. Communication signals echoed and then vanished. Navigation markers drifted like loose thoughts. "This region is expanding," an officer said, her voice tight. "Our maps are no longer reliable." "Then you need to stop trusting the maps. You just need to read them differently." The leader studied Evan for a long moment. "Show us." The display became chaotic, full of sharp lines and sudden spikes. Gasps echoed across the bridge. "This is unusable," someone whispered. Evan smiled slightly. "Now watch. The distortion has a boundary, but it breathes." "This is different," an officer shouted. "This is not a field, it's a convergence." "Then we fight it. Let the rest flex." Space folded inward. Energy pressed from all sides. Instruments failed one by one. Inside the storm, Evan did not panic. He focused. Humans had survived storms, quakes, wars, and disasters not by overpowering them, but by enduring. "Now," he said calmly, "release the rear stabilizers." The convergence slid past them, collapsing behind instead of around them. Silence followed. Systems rebooted slowly. Lights stabilized. They were alive. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then the leader stepped toward Evan. Her posture was no longer dominant, it was respectful. "You saved us again," she said quietly. Evan wiped sweat from his brow. "You listened. That's what saved you. We live it. Human design. But it is dangerous." When the humans saw Evan standing there, alive and calm among aliens, disbelief spread quickly. "You how?" one whispered. Evan smiled faintly. "Long story. In adaptation, in the refusal to give up, even when everything said they should." She turned to Evan. "The galaxy will not see your kind the same way after this." And for the first time, the aliens did not fear it, because they had a human with them. The ship finally emerged into calm space, as if the universe had decided it had tested them enough. The stars ahead were steady, their light clear and unbroken. For the first time since leaving the frontier station, the engines ran smoothly without strain. Inside the ship, the atmosphere had changed completely. Evan was no longer watched like a captured creature. He walked freely among the crew. When he spoke, people listened. When he stayed silent, they wondered what he was thinking. The rescued humans were recovering, sharing stories quietly, amazed that one of their own had survived so long among aliens and earned their respect. The leader of the ship stood on the bridge, watching the stars. Her posture was thoughtful now, not commanding. She turned when Evan approached. "You were right," she said, "about many things." Other alien vessels requested data, explanations, confirmation. "How did you pass through the convergence?" one message asked. "Our models show failure," another stated. The leader allowed Evan to speak. He stood before the communication interface, aware that countless eyes now watched from distant systems. "We didn't defeat it," Evan said simply. "We adapted to it." "Our systems are superior," one voice argued. "Adaptation should not be necessary." The transmissions ended with promises to review data, but the seed had been planted. Later, as the ship continued, Evan spent time with the rescued humans. They asked how he survived alone for so long. "You learn fast," he told them, "or you don't last." "They share strength," she said to the leader, "without hierarchy." Dozens of alien vessels passed by, slowing when they saw the unfamiliar configuration of the Explorer ship, its visible modifications, its mixed crew. Scans were exchanged. Questions followed. "A human on board?" one captain asked, disbelief clear. "Yes," the leader answered. "By choice. Not out of authority, but curiosity." Humans had always been considered minor, fragile, dependent. Now stories spread of a single human guiding advanced ships through impossible space. One alien asked Evan directly, "Why do your kind survive when others fail?" Another asked, "Are all humans like you?" "I want cooperation." When the humans prepared to leave on a repaired ship, Evan stood at the airlock. He could go with them. He could return home. Instead, he looked back at the alien vessel. The leader waited. "You're staying," she said. "For a while," Evan replied. "There's more to fix out here." The human ship departed, carrying stories that would spread across human space. Stories of aliens who listened, of survival, of respect earned, not demanded. Evan watched until the ship vanished into the stars. Behind him, the alien crew waited, not impatient but trusting. Ahead, unknown space stretched endlessly. The leader gave the command to move forward. As the ship accelerated, Evan felt the familiar hum through his bones. Not the hum of perfection, but the hum of something alive, flexible, learning. In distant systems, data was reviewed. Assumptions were questioned. Old classifications were quietly removed. Humanity was no longer listed as weak. It was listed as adaptable, as unpredictable, as essential. And somewhere in the vast dark between stars, a former prey species walked freely among those who once hunted the galaxy, not as a conqueror, not as a threat, but as proof that the greatest power was never strength. It was the ability to survive, to change, and to help others do the same. The universe would remember that, because it always remembered humans.